guys, and welcome back to Samassa Plays Scratches the Director's Cut. When we last left off, it's on this awesome diary that I'm now going to read to you. April the 20th. During a fit of rage, I burnt my previous diary. Not that I regret it, as it was my disjointed notes were worth anything. Their only purpose was to keep me sane. I feel that this is my escape route, my only means of finding some inner peace. Whenever I put my pen to this paper, I feel that I can reflect upon my situation. I just wish I had more options, that's all. But I'm rambling. I must think clearly. Focus. May the 12th. I've become an eternal guardian, stuck between few choices, none of which are good. Do I fulfill a promise and violate everything that I believe in, the very principles of my life? Or am I condemned to spend the rest of my existence in this dead-end state, a ghost with no other purpose than just being here, watching? I truly have no escape. I can't find an appropriate solution to this problem, and I must pay the price. I'm a shadow of the man I used to be. Only these notes remain my testament in these moments of meditation, my sole companion. June the 22nd. Today I spent the entire afternoon staring out the window, my mind a blank. Oddly enough, I really didn't care. It seems now as though it was something natural for me, a part of my personality. But I know the reason very well. I've lost my soul. I'm an empty shell, devoid of any feelings. I renounced them on that fateful day, and the worst thing is, I knew there were going to be consequences. No, that's not true. Consequences were far worse than I expected. How could I be so blind? January the 25th. I often wonder what would have happened if we had simply reversed it all. What would happen if, right now, I come out and told the world what really happened? No, I'd end up rotting in jail, although there might be a better destiny compared to this eternal suffering. November the 17th. I can't say for sure when it began. I just heard them one morning, coming from the next room. The whispers. Are they real? Have I been alone too long? They won't stop. I can't stand it any longer. February the 9th. Ever since I locked it away, that everything seems to have calmed down a bit. Perhaps James was right after all. It's madness, I know. But at this point, I'd be inclined to believe anything. May. Over the years, I was convinced that everything James suffered was a misfortune, a whim of destiny. For the first time ever, I'm not so sure anymore. I never thought it could happen, but I believe I understand now. If this is so, then cursed be my soul. Poor James. If I had acted in another way, then maybe things would have worked out differently. But it's too late now, and I have to suffer my Calvary. September the 13th. The noises are back, although this time they're different. Before, I'd only hear them inside my head, as if someone or something was whispering and, how to put this, interrupting my thoughts. But now, I can really feel them spreading around the house. What are they? September the 14th. I've realized the noises are coming from down there. I don't want to think about it anymore. December. They are unbearable. They get worse at night. Oh, how I wish it would stop. What is going on down there? I don't dare go nearer. I don't want to know. May. God, how many years have passed. I have lost all sense of time. I have to get out of this place. Right, so, the diary deserved me in a way I couldn't explain, yet I felt curious about what had been tormenting that poor fellow. I don't really want to find out about what's tormenting that poor fellow. To be honest with all of you, I really don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm scared. I'm playing this in the dark, and even though I've already played this part of the game, I just don't want to know. I don't want to do it. At all. I don't. Sudden silence. Alright, in here, there is a book that I can read on this desk right here. I'm going to go through the drawers first. Actually, no, I'll read first. That way nobody misses out of anything. This is, another thing, and like I said in the last video, I'm going to lump the two of these readings together, so if you don't want to read it, you can just skip the video. This will probably be the only place I give you guys that option, because I don't really know what happens after. I'll tell you exactly when, but I only played about, 40 minutes of this game to an hour, and the only reason it took that long is because I explored everything. I'm mad because it was some really good footage that I recorded, and you guys aren't going to get to see it, but here we go. February the 6th. The construction of the railway bridge, say that one 5 times fast, is almost complete and went quite smoothly. It took longer than I expected, yet I wish it would have lasted longer. I will be very sad to leave South Africa. I've become so attached to it, its culture, its arts, over the past few months, that I can't help feeling as if it was already a part of me. I will surely return someday, soon, hopefully, although I'm afraid there's a great deal of work to be taken care of back in Old Britain. Fortunately, I made good friends here who are ecstatic about my now appreciation of their country. They have offered me some wonderful objects as a token of gratitude, which I have already created and got ready to ship, along with many trinkets I have bought myself. It looks like I'm about to start a very substantial collection. It's a good thing Catherine agreed to move into our new home, although I fear several renovations will have to be made, even more if I'm intending to start a serious new hobby. It seems I'll have to get back to the work. John Patterson has just told me some more natives are causing trouble. A very unfortunate thing, although I'm secretly rejoicing. February the 12th. The natives won't leave. It's not like they're causing trouble so much as they're unsettling our workers. The only complaint so far has been distraction. They just stand still between the trees, staring at us without blinking an eye. I've watched them for a few minutes, and they truly seem like some tenebrous statues. At first, it was just annoying, but lately it has become downright creepy. They seem to be stalking us. So it's not like they're hindering the construction, but there is a general uneasy feeling as if they were about to jump out at us at any moment. I think I will hire some protection as a measure of precaution. February the 15th. Fascinating. I've been looking into these natives. They live in a nearby village and are a very small group, yet they seem to manage quite well. I have thought of them as quite an uncivilized tribe, but their movements are calculated and one can perceive a sense of careful organization in their tasks. Oddly enough, they seem to be very brutish, and their aspect looks awful, although I couldn't take a good look at their facial features as I followed one of them completely on my own, and it could have been dangerous getting any closer. Also, the village is poor and very rough, but some of the shacks left out as inviting or special. It made me very curious. I will try to come closer tomorrow. February the 16th. My second expedition to the village of the natives has been foiled by an unexpected problem at the bridge. I'm afraid it was due to a slight miscalculation on my part, an indication that I should be focusing more on the task at hand and put my sudden love for all African things aside for a moment. It was my fault, and I accept it. February the 20th. They're at it again, lurking beyond the forest. It's amazing how they have changed our perception of the surroundings. At first we were delighted by the quiet nature of the place. Now we fear what horrors might be concealed in that dark and foreboding cloak of trees. The tops loom above us, overshadowing the bridge, and strange noises haunt our meals. Even the river telling ungodly secrets. We could be, of course, a bit more sensitive towards distractions, but I can't help feeling the area has, in fact, become more sinister. And yet, I'm still looking forward to satisfying my curiosity about the tribe. February the 24th. At last, I found something more about that neighboring tribe. This is an incredible finding, and I just cannot withhold my excitement. Some elders of the local town happen to know about them, but only through stories they heard. The most surprising thing is that the tribe was assumed to be extinct long ago, but according to my vague descriptions, the elders think that we could be dealing with a legend here. Everything they ever learned of them was during their childhood, when the tribe was stalking the town, much in the same way they have been stalking us. People used to call them Dilhan, as such was the sound of screams heard echoing late in the night. They'd come into the streets and see an evil glitter atop a hill in the distance. Some would say it was a fire, others the cursed spirit of an ancient god. Whatever it was, they say the bright lights, amidst these fantastic screams, were bone-chilling. The macabre scene would suddenly stop just as it had begun out of nowhere, never to be seen again in days to come. Intervals between those horrible nights became longer and longer, until they soon faded into oblivion. The tribe apparently had retreated back into obscurity, until now. They were later known as the Dalmar, a rather more scientific name, although names of the people I spoke with could possibly remember its origin. Oh, none of the people. I find it extremely surprising that nobody has ever heard about this tribe with the exception of a few townspeople. They must be incredibly rare, and judging by the stories passed on from generations in this town, very old. February the 27th. I will confirm that I've become nearly obsessed with this. I will confess that I have become nearly obsessed with this strange tribe. I see them as the most prized goal of my appreciation towards all South African things, a dangerous yet irresistible reward. I feel as if they were my discovery. I simply have to study them before leaving. I fear I won't have the chance to ever again. It has become an important goal of mine, even more important than finishing the bridge. March the 4th. Finally, I have managed to see them. My God, what a disturbing spectacle. When we arrived, they were moving around the village very slowly, without speaking or communicating with each other, each minding his or her own business, completely alien to the rest of the world. They were filthy looking, coarse and downright disgusting. I couldn't see any weapons, but they could have been stored somewhere. It was all very strange behavior in a tribe. That they must be quite unique. Then, as if they had suddenly all become possessed by some wild spirit, they began shaking spasmodically and screaming like mad. Some of them dropped to their knees and lifted their heads to the sky, eyes blank and moaning in an indescribable way. 2 of them walked away, still in that monotonous and slow manner, and in great contrast to the rest of the scene, into a shack. The next minute they brought out into the open an odd-looking mask. Its shapes, colors, and overall looks, while unsettling, were mesmerizing, and I felt instantly hypnotized by it. It rendered my modest collection of African curiosities into dull and uninteresting items. The mask was very ominous, and the whole tribe seemed to greatly revere it. Soon they began to gather around it and move in circles, fluttering and chanting a guttural psalm. Judging by their motions and aspects of the whole ritual, it must have been some kind of war ritual. I'm not sure how to explain what happened next, as I feel my pulse already throbbing. Words fail me to recount the most disturbing thing I have ever witnessed. One of the male villagers walked into the middle near the mask by his own will. It was an almost automatic act. All of a sudden, the remaining members became silent. I can't tell for how long it lasted, but I was afraid to breathe. I think Dalby and the others were also scared. They wouldn't even blink. I remember being soaked wet and expectant. The silence was unnatural. Then, a few members separated from the people circling the masks and jumped on the single villager, beating him to death. To be completely faithful to the event, the small crowd tore him apart. They grabbed his legs in 2s and 3s and twisted them in a manner I dare not describe. His face was disfigured with their bare fingernails and teeth, and his torso soon disappeared under the frenzied tangles of hands. In a matter of a few minutes, the villager was turned into a red sack of bones. Not one of the attackers had the compassion to snap his neck during the sickening process. All was very methodical, as if it was just another mundane task. The most terrifying aspect, though, was that the victim didn't even cringe. The silence was so deep, I could hear his flesh ripping. I would expect any living creature to scream its guts out in such a condition. I can't tell whether he was drugged or half asleep, but I did recognize him dancing like everybody else, walking into the middle of the circle. It was the most outrageous and sadistic sacrifice I'd ever heard of. I don't think I will ever forget what I saw. My intentions of approaching further, even if they didn't have any weapon at hand, vanished. Those creatures, I dare not call them human beings, could have killed my whole company in the blink of an eye with their rage. They seemed to be completely out of themselves and willing to destroy anything intruding into their path. While the images of the sacrifice still haunt my thoughts, I still can't seem to forget that mask. It was so deceptively simple and yet perfect in its design. I haven't seen anything like it. I surely would love to take a better look. I feel that the Dalmar, dangerous as they are, could be the most important ethical finding in decades. What I'm scene today is crying out for some further investigation. I just can't leave them like that. I would never forgive myself. And the mask. That mask. I was ecstatic after reading the journal, and the material was incredible. I'm glad that you find that incredible. I actually find that quite disturbing, and thanks guys, but that's where I'm going to end this video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon. Chill out like a Cub Scout. Catch you on the flip side.